So I got Bob King, owner of Cafe Chew, on with me right now. So Bob, could you kind of talk about your current place right now during everything that's going on?
Yeah, it's much different. Of course, it's much, much slower. And it's all takeout. So, we've always done a lot of takeout anyway. So we were fortunately prepared for that. I feel bad for those restaurants that really don't, feature takeout and either can't do it or because of their menu or are having issues with it. But so we were prepared on that level. And we also actually started preparing, I think, in terms of a lot of sanitizing and taking the whole coronavirus, threat seriously, well before we were made to.
Hmm.
We had some employees that had, some were at high risk, either, themselves or had someone at home at high risk. So we had already employed a lot of the, tactics of keeping the place sanitized and, the doorknobs, the tabletops, the backs of chairs, the countertops, all the hard surfaces. Our hands were gloved, and we never really had our so for example of our food runners wearing gloves, and they went to gloves as a result
Uh-huh.
right away. And then when we moved on to takeout only, we've really streamlined the whole sort of process in and out. We've pushed all the furniture aside. We generally leave the door open so people don't even have to touch the doorknob.
Oh, great.
We have marks on the floor as to where the 6 feet stand and where we stand in order to be 6 feet away. We sanitize the counter that we talk over or do conduct our business over every time somebody leaves. We keep one pen handy if someone wants to sign their charge. We don't even require them to, but sometimes they want to leave a tip, and
Yeah.
sanitize that when we wipe the counter. We just leave it on the counter and spray the whole thing down.
Have
So
your hours changed a lot? Are they all
what?
pretty much the same? Your
I'm sorry.
hours? Have your hours stayed the
Well,
same?
our hours we actually cut short by 1 hour
Okay.
because even when we would normally open, we would spend from 2 to 3, sort of just dribs and drabs, and it was it would have been so busy that we would really need that hour to sort of clean up as we went along, and now it's just so much slower that it doesn't make sense to most people are done with lunch by
Yeah,
2
right.
o'clock in the afternoon. So we miss some people come a little bit later, but for the most part, our business has done it too. So we said, let's just, get out of here. And
Hmm.
we're down to, really the purpose of it for us is really to try to keep some key employees, going,
Yeah.
and to also not, just have to face, it's really difficult in a restaurant, I think, to go from, completely ground zero to up and running,
Yeah.
without sort of at least sort of carrying over some routine. So we're just hoping after 2 or 3 weeks that this goes away and we can get back to normal. And in the meantime, we just sort of are as careful as we can be. None of us want to end up on a respirator, trust me.
Right. Yeah.
We're extremely careful, and I think we're providing service to a lot of people. We're discovering there are a lot of people who just don't cook, I think,
Yeah.
and a lot of
Yeah. Yeah.
and a lot of office, people who are in offices or businesses around us, looking for lunch. The morning we aren't really serving all that many breakfasts. It's more coffee and muffins, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then lunchtime is, pretty full lunch.
Yeah. So kind of going back a little bit, you said you kind of were preparing a lot for it. When this whole kind of unfolded, I felt like from my perspective that everything kind of escalated from not being a big deal to like shut down. Was
Yeah.
it tough adjusting to that in that period? Or
Um,
did you have a lot of prep or forewarning of it
no,
happening?
it was tough because, we were given basically, in fact, I was watching Netflix Sunday night, and a friend texted me and said, gee, I'm really sorry, how things are affecting your industry. What? I said, Tobin, turn on the news. So, we clicked off of Netflix, and, we never watch network television. So we clicked on to Channel 5, and just as the governor was stepping out of off the camera, and then they summed up what he had said, and we were like, oh my God, like we have one day.
Yeah,
And then
right. Yeah.
only serve takeout.
Yeah, that
So
was crazy.
I think that was a little extreme in the sense that, I guess you have to, it has to happen sometime, but
Mhm.
they'd known that was coming. Like even
Right.
like Monday, people kept saying, oh, we're going to be told to, shelter in place. You're not going to be able to serve takeout anymore. And I thought, if they give us like half a day,
What can
to
you do?
prepare that,
Yeah,
we learned it on Sunday night, and we got an email from the Board of Health on Monday, and basically you were either out of business or doing takeout on Tuesday.
that's crazy.
And,
Yeah,
there was, and for a business like ours that's so busy, you are geared up for that,
right.
much
Yeah,
higher level of business. So you have to really, shift gears and, change the things around a little bit.
yeah. Yeah, it's been like I can't even imagine because you're expecting all your employees to be coming in and all that and running as
Yeah.
a regular restaurant.
Right.
But then now that this is all happening, and they made a new mandate. When was it? Yesterday, basically. But it's not really affecting your business, I imagine,
Not
right?
really.
Yeah.
It seems to me that like it's the newest thing they've changed really is like most retail stores.
Yeah.
Like I looked at the hardware store was going to be like I knew that I needed to get some things at the hardware store, and I thought that by noon today they would be closed. And they're like, no, we're an essential business. And I thought, well, in a way they are, but
I was
you know,
surprised what's essential and what's non-essential.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. Like I think to myself about like Verizon. Are they an
Yeah.
essential business? Like,
Right.
because if my phone broke, I'd be like,
What
really,
would you do? Yeah.
if
Yeah.
I had to wait 2 weeks to do something about it, I've become so dependent on it. So
Yeah.
that sort of thing, so it just seems to me that like a lot of retail has,
Hmm.
has been had to close, but a lot like at Merchant Square, really all of the retail except for I think the pet shop had elected to close anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Prior to
yeah,
that.
and then there was a hairdresser and the dentist's office. All I think we in the real estate office and the pet shop were about the only the pet supply shop were the only ones open.
So the real
You know,
estate office is open still?
yeah. Well, they seem to be going in and out. I
Yeah.
guess.
Whatever
I
they're
don't.
doing. Yeah.
I guess if you have real estate deals lined up, I
Yeah.
suppose that's essential in a way.
Right. Yeah. It can't just go off. Yeah. On that.
I don't think anyone's going into the office seeking, uh, seeking help, but it
Yeah.
looks like
Right.
they sort of, meet there or something.
Yeah, yeah. Just kind of continue what they had going. So, I mean, I know we kind of spoke of, like briefly at the gym the other day, but how does it now impacting? Like you said, like hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll return to normal, but we don't know that. So, how is it really
Yeah.
impacting your future planning with everything?
Well, it's a little freaky. I just try to look at it in like a 2-week increment. Like not months.
Okay.
That I'll tell you, it couldn't happen. When you run a seasonal business on Cape Cod, and all businesses are seasonal to one extent.
Yeah.
March is like the absolute lowest point because
Mhm.
any money that you would have saved from the previous season and had to spend down is all gone by March.
Yeah.
And then it's fine because April sees a whole new beginning of a whole new season. And
Mhm.
that's really when we see, other restaurants, begin to open, seasonal restaurants begin to open, and people, I guess, are back from Florida, wherever they go for the winter, and the population increases and people are out. And we really see an uptick in business usually around the beginning of April, and we really rely on it.
Mhm.
So that's a a concern. We don't want to lose April,
Right.
basically.
Right. And then it gets worse if it kind of impacts May or whatever with that.
So that May becomes that much more. Usually,
Right. Yeah. Is it
over.
impacting a lot of decisions you're making with like ordering and food stuff like that? Or are you just kind of looking at a 2-week cycle and seeing what
Yeah. What we've discovered is, we had a lot of supplies
uh
uh, anyway, so we haven't had to, and you just adjust. I mean, that
Right.
they come, you're able to get the shipments fortunately at least twice a week at this point. I think, you could up to 3 times from the big purveyors, and then
Yeah.
day, so you don't really have to plan that far ahead anyway. It's like on Monday, you really are looking at what do I have, and I don't have an opportunity to get it again until Wednesday.
Yeah. Okay. So that's
But
kind of good.
I will confess, I saw coming. I took on more gloves for our
Hmm.
hand. I took in more to-go boxes, more of the supplies that I knew we would need to sustain to-go orders for at least a month
Yeah.
in case supplies ran out or in case the purveyors stopped producing them. So gloves being one of the most important things.
Yeah.
And we had plenty of gloves.
Well, that's good. And I guess just kind of wrapping this up a little bit is, what about, do you want anything more, like a message you want to give to the people, or like anything more you expect from the town, the local government, to like kind of provide?
Doing their best. I think, I would want to reassure people that, there's nobody at Cafe Chew that wants to contract this virus any more than they would want to, see somebody get it from them. So we are exceedingly careful for our own benefits as well as the public's. And it's, I think it's the Board of Health has been very clear. It's not a foodborne illness. It's kitchen's following procedure. There's not going to be an issue with that. And we are, like I said, sanitizing and keeping our social distancing in place. And I mean, even little things like as we're packaging something, we now have rule you don't speak. Even if like somebody you, if like you're not that like you even really have the opportunity, but it's just because there are flaps on the packaging. But before until you have those flaps actually closed, the rule is don't talk. Nobody,
don't even open the mouth.
don't even open.
Yeah.
And we're really cognizant of all of that. So I would want to reassure people that I think it's safe. And I just I think the town is I've been plugged into the alerts and the messaging that they've put out, and I think that they've been very smart, and it's been good. And I know Sandwich TV has been very instrumental in getting those messages out to us as well, so that you guys have been on a great job. And well, I guess I'm just learning to live with accepting what I can't change, and doing my best.
Yeah, that's all we can kind of do now. But it is good to reiterate it, because sometimes the chaos of it makes you start to think about different things and worry aimlessly. So I think it's good.
Called me on Sunday, who does a blog, and she was like, she asked me a question I really hadn't thought of, which was like, what have you learned about yourself through all, and what would you carry forward? And one of the things I've learned is that I guess I can stay cool and cool under hot circumstances.
Right.
And also, I've kind of learned it in a way, live the serenity prayer. Accept the things I can't change the things I can, and have the wisdom to know the difference.
Yeah, and that's so valuable to have. Yeah.
That's been a good lesson in all of this to me.
Yeah. To know the limits of what we, what could happen to us all. It can always get worse too. And it's always good to adapt to it. But I appreciate it. Thanks so much, Bob, for talking with us.
You're welcome. Thank you. Nice talking to you, Tyke.
Yeah. See you later.